Hello friends and family from around the world, this is Mike with Daily Events Worldwide, and we are on September 23rd, 2022. Welcome to another surviving day on the planet, and welcome to the Daily Do, giving you your space weather update as well, a look at earthquakes and world weather, checking out the last 48 hours on our sun, 304 angstroms, still a couple active sunspots in the southern region of the sun, as well another sunspot peeking around, cresting into view on the left-hand side. Looking here at the last 48 hours, incoming active sunspot region 3088. Very widespread and organized. And then you can see that new spot peeking in later frames there. Looking at the last 48 hours outgoing. Not much to talk about right now. Minor C-class solar flares firing away from sunspots. And as well one C.M.E. taking off from that center sunspot. Right there, looking at another light. You can see these plasma ropes, very active regions in the southern hemisphere right now. So C-class solar flares, but nothing major to report. It looks like it did produce a C.M.E. The equatorial region. And it may give us a glancing blow in 2 to 3 days. Looking at multispectrum, all the day's events. It's amazing to see the dynamics of our heliosphere here, especially on the top left. Observing here plasma filaments as well stretch across the surface. Quick look here at the space prediction spiral. As you can see, that C.M.E. shot right out at Mercury and on its way to stereo B, and as well give us a glancing blow. Solar X-ray flux remains in C range. A couple new C-class flares to talk about. Geomagnetic activity slightly heightened as we are expecting coronal hole wind stream. Looking at real-time solar wind sitting at about 389 kilometers per second, coming down after being up over 500. But notable here is the density bunches as it jumped up to 16.45, 16.81. Schumann resonance for today, a power of 13. So a nice healthy power, yet again, low power. Amplitude of 13, quality of 7.5. Now let's get to earthquakes here for the past 24 hours across the planet. As just recently we had a 5.4 Papua New Guinea, which is the largest the last 24 hours other than the 6.8 from early yesterday morning. Mexico, 69 kilometer depth there. Papua New Guinea, 5.4. Tonga region still staying pretty active. Across the Pacific plate right now, interesting things developing. Tonga region, 4.8, 587 kilometer depth. That is the deepest. As well, High Fo there with a 4.8. 5.2 here, Picton, New Zealand. And that was noted yesterday in the video. So heads up. New Zealand. Couple minor earthquakes there, 4.6, 4.3. Indonesia. Taiwan seeing some activity, 4.5. As well, Myanmar here with a 4.3, 10 kilometer depth. 4.4 there, Afghanistan. And as well, notable earthquakes here, 4.6 and a 4.4. Italy, Abetone, and as well, Bogliasco, Italy, 4.4. Svalbard, North Pole, 4.6. Japan, one lonely 4.7 to report there. 4.6 here. Severo, Russia. Activity increasing across Alaska right now. Larsen Bay, 3.6, largest last little bit. As well, Hawaii. Kilauea is in eruption mode. Across the United States and Canada, 3.3. California, largest reported today, 3.9. Bend, Oregon, yesterday. As well, a 3.5 here in Forks, Washington, 37 kilometer depth. Minor activity across the Pacific Northwest right now, and as well Yellowstone, Mammoth, Wyoming just recently. So still seeing many earthquakes across the last 24 hours, 356 earthquakes reported by USGS. But having a look over Yellowstone, we've had 40 here in the last 24 hours northwest of Yellowstone, and over 700 earthquakes the last 28 days out of the 10,000 earthquakes almost across the USGS map. Almost 1,000 of them have been here northwest of Yellowstone. So something definitely building, pressure is shifting, magma, I am sure, is moving. So stay aware and prepared, Wyoming. Stay aware and prepared, world. We've got a couple large supervolcanoes ready to go, possibly. 4.4 there at Guatemala, 4.0 south of there, and as well a 4.6 Barica, Panama. Seeing some activity come back to South America. San Pedro de Atacama, Chile, and as well right up into Peru with a 4.5. And that's the last 24 hours for earthquakes. Heads up, everybody. Stay aware and prepared. We got some major changes happening, especially with the autumn solstice, Mercury retrograde. Having a look here at world weather, Van Tusky showing our forecast model for Hurricane Fiona, which is going to make landfall most likely late tonight into tomorrow. So while you are sleeping, Nova Scotia, Fiona's fury is on your doorstep. So watch for torrential downpours, very strong winds, and extreme conditions, but a very nasty cold front to come in behind there. Watch as those systems go straight to Greenland. And believe it or not, we're looking at remnants of Typhoon Myanmar or Himamnor from a week ago. It literally went across the Pacific Ocean, down into Hudson Bay, and it will be colliding with Hurricane Fiona in the Atlantic Ocean. But a nasty cold front coming with it. And look at the forecast models, long line of moisture stretching across the Atlantic, and a couple interesting tracks for systems in the middle of the Atlantic. We've got Gaston there. Across the west coast, still watching and seeing a huge forecast for snowfall, parts of Alaska, but a lot of moisture, parts of northern BC, low pressure system after low pressure system heading through the Pacific. So watch for widespread showers across the west coast into the prairies as well as those systems move through. We've also got another tropical system here developing. Looks like Monday into Tuesday, it's going to make landfall in South Florida Panhandle and then rake itself up the eastern seaboard. Forecasts may change, so stay aware and prepared and stay tuned to daily events worldwide. Overlooking South America, no major changes. You do have a little bit of rain that will be persistent through the border with Argentina and Brazil, up into Bolivia, Paraguay. Could see some torrential downpours and as well as some electrifying thunderstorm systems. So wildfires could be starting to spread across the Amazon. Having a look here at temperature transition over the next few days, things are definitely cooling off. Watch that polar vortex move its way in over Hudson Bay. And parts of eastern Canada are going to see some early cold temperatures. We already had a frost warning last night, and we will tonight. But looking across the rest of the world, this is about where our new polar vortex is centered, right over Siberia. Having a look at windy models showing low pressure systems heading across the northern hemisphere. And look at the size of this low that develops over eastern Greenland after Fiona gets in there. And then it's going to head through Iceland and then down into the United Kingdom. So that system has literally traveled from Japan and will be hitting Ireland, the United Kingdom, in a long-range forecast. Boy, oh boy. So big systems heading into Alaska, still forecasting a very large low coming out of Kamchatka. Big low pressure system off the west coast. It's going to bring in a lot of moisture, but watch, as I said, temperature transition. Things are going to get nastily cold over the next little bit. Having a look here at the southern hemisphere over Australia. Just observing the jet stream, folks, which is very wonky right now. We are in autumn now for the northern hemisphere. Having a look at the polar vortex, southern hemisphere versus the northern. Very strong winds, upper level, 350 kilometers an hour over Antarctica. Cool temperatures may be persistent through parts of southeastern Australia. A look at the northern hemisphere, polar vortex setting up. Got a huge grinding low off the coast of Siberia. Upper level winds here. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay aware and prepared. Stay young and have fun. And get your daily dew. Bye-bye now. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends and family from across the world.